There is a moment right after a win that feels like clarity. You closed the deal, you made the right call, you finally got what you were chasing. In that moment, it feels like skill, like judgment, like you finally understand something other people don't. That feeling has a name and a body count. The people who fall hardest are rarely the ones who fail early. They're the ones who succeed first, long enough for success to quietly change how they see danger. This isn't bad luck, it's a pattern, and it's old enough to have its own myth. We're taught that growth is always good and confidence is always earned. But here's what actually happens underneath that idea. The better you get at something, the worse you get at judging your own risk. Winners don't stop thinking, they just stop seeing the danger the way they used to. A line that once felt dangerous starts to feel routine, not because the danger went away, but because the person watching it changed. To see this clearly, go back to Crete, to the myth of Daedalus, a master craftsman, and his son Icarus. Trapped on the island, the only way out was up. Daedalus built 2 pairs of wings from feathers and wax. Before they flew, he gave his son one rule, built from the one thing he actually understood: the wings themselves. Fly the middle course. Too low, and the sea soaks the feathers. Too high, and the sun melts the wax. A simple line drawn by the only person who knew exactly where it was. They launched. They flew. For Icarus, every safe minute in the air changed something in him. The wind held, nothing failed, and every safe moment became proof, without him even deciding it, that his father's rule was too careful, built for someone less capable than he now felt himself to be. So he climbed, not all at once, just a little higher each time, each climb feeling less like risk and more like confirmation that he'd earned it. The wax didn't care how good the flight felt. It softened. Then it gave out completely. The wings that had carried him came apart in seconds, scattering into the wind. Icarus fell into the sea below, water that, in some versions of the myth, still carries his name. His father, flying exactly where he'd started, looked back to find only feathers on the water. So why does this keep happening? Why does winning make people worse at seeing danger instead of better? Here's the actual mechanism. A win gives your brain a real chemical reward, the same kind of rush that makes anything feel good, and that rush quietly turns down the part of your brain that's supposed to double-check for danger. It's not that people choose to ignore warnings after a win. It's that the part of them built to notice warnings has been temporarily switched to low volume. This is the Icarus Effect, and it always runs the same way. A win gives you a high. That high quietly switches off the part of your brain that double-checks for danger. With that switch off, the line between safe and too far starts to blur. And once it blurs, you don't notice you've crossed it until something breaks. Here's the whole pattern in one line. Success builds your confidence faster than it builds your judgment. Icarus isn't just a metaphor for this, he's the first version of the story. Everything that comes after, every fall that follows a win, runs on the exact same pattern. You don't need a myth to see this pattern. It shows up anywhere a win removes someone's instinct to keep checking the edge. A trader has 3 good months and starts betting bigger, not because the strategy improved, but because the confidence did. A founder lands one big client and treats it as proof the whole business works. Same story every time. A line that was respected at first, crossed slowly, not from stupidity, but from one good result after another. 2 real examples make this easy to see. Swissair was once called the Flying Bank. so financially solid that people assumed it couldn't fail. That reputation pushed the airline into an aggressive buying spree in the late 1990s, snapping up other airlines faster than its own finances could actually support. Within a few years, the airline everyone thought was too stable to fail had collapsed into bankruptcy. Nokia owned the global phone market so completely that, according to people who worked there at the time, employees who raised concerns about smartphones were brushed aside before those concerns ever reached the top. Nokia didn't run out of smart people or money, it ran out of anyone willing to say, "We might be wrong," and by the time the company listened, the damage was already permanent. Here's the part of this that's hard to escape. The same drive that lets you achieve something is the same thing that eventually blinds you to how far you've gone. There's no amount of skill that fully protects you from this. But there is one thing that decides whether this happens to you: how fast you actually find out you're wrong. Icarus didn't feel the wax melting until it was too late to fix it. Swissair and Nokia didn't see the damage until it was already done. When you find out you're wrong quickly, the pattern breaks before it gets dangerous, which is exactly why the people who avoid this aren't the ones who feel less confident. They're the ones who build something outside their own feelings, a number, a rule, a person, to tell them the truth before reality does it for them. Daedalus survived, not because he flew better than his son, but because his rule wasn't a feeling. He set it before the flight began, and it never changed, no matter how good the wind felt. This is Mnemarch. We look at the patterns behind human behavior, the same mistakes repeating, whether the costume is a myth, a market, or a memory. Subscribe if this is the kind of thing you think about. There's another one next week.